Good morning. Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Dean, and this is 5 life-changing minutes. Thank you all for your prayers. As many of you know, Pina, my wife, has been very, very sick, and your prayers and our faith in God has resulted in her feeling much, much better, and I thank you for that. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I believe it's a miracle that took place over the weekend. And a good Monday morning to you. Listen, we do this every day. Become a regular, and your life will change. Now, here's the lesson today. If you want to bring the Lord pain, and I know you don't want to do that, but if you want to bring the Lord pain, you can do one of 3 things that I can think of right off the top of my head. You can forget him, and many of us do. You can doubt him, and you can disobey him. And you know what? I've done every one of them. And I can remember dark periods of my life. I was stiff-necked. I was living without a true satisfaction to my days. The material things were there, but God wasn't. And I tell you, I can remember the days when I was making tons of money. I was a real estate agent, and I was a broadcaster, and I appeared to be in the midst of high society, showing all the marks of a blessed person. I was doing it on my own. I was doing it through my talents, my efforts. It was my. And after a number of years in the my business, I looked at my life, and that's when I really said my, because I was a mess in every sense of the word. And I was humbled by the Lord. I was on the verge of bankruptcy. I had to examine my lifestyle, and it revealed a rebelliousness. I failed to obey God's commandments, thinking they were meant to take all the fun out of life. And because of it, I had been living without God's blessing. Because of the decisions I made, I was humbled by God, and I went running back to him again. I confessed my sins to him during those humbling moments, and might I add that the word humble in the Bible, in the Bible sense, means to be poor and dependent. And by golly, I had to do exactly that. I had to go to God and tell him and confess to him my sins and tell him that I was poor and I needed him desperately. Now, those were great days in my life, but every morning I would pray to him, and I would be declaring how much I needed him. I was reminded of Jesus in the wilderness when he was tempted to turn stones into bread. That was in Matthew chapter 4. The Savior's response to the evil one was, "Man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord." Well, as a result of my rebelliousness, Pina and I had to struggle. But God did to us what he did for Israel when they were in the desert. God provided food. He provided clothes that did not wear out and good health. He was preparing us to live in a land of total blessing. He was about to give me a ministry. Now, the lesson to learn here is that God may hold back material things to teach us to depend on him. But the promise he gave us in the book of Isaiah 119 still holds true as a promise to you and me. In Isaiah 1:19 it says, if you're willing and obedient, you will eat the best from the land. You can work 7 days a week, my friend, and bring in mucho bucks, but if it isn't blessed by the Lord, it will come to nothing. The humble person acknowledges his dependence on God. The proud individual credits himself for his success. I'm going to heartily suggest today that you read Deuteronomy 8 and put yourself in the place of the Israelites. You'll see what I mean. You know, it's painful for me to recall my sins, especially in public. But the faithfulness of God has provided me with the miraculous way of life since I went back to him and made his Son truly the Lord of my life. The miracles began when I humbly crawled back to him. And they're not over. They're not over for you, and they're not over for me. This is Pastor Dean for 5 life-changing minutes.